Hey guys, PepperAmmy here. This week we are making a rhubarb crumble. Now this is a super simple dessert and only requires 4 ingredients for the basic recipe. Now if you are growing rhubarb at home, this is a great use for it, and this year we have grown some massive stalks, the largest one so far being 650 grams, which is almost enough for the whole recipe. Also, as a friendly reminder, if you do grow rhubarb, the leaves are poisonous, so make sure to keep them away from children and animals when disposing of them. Now to start the crumble, you want to prepare your rhubarb by slicing into 2 cm thick slices using around 1 kilogram of rhubarb. Now you can go a bit less, you can go a bit over, it all depends also on the size of the dish you're using. Now, with using only 1 kilogram, that left me with plenty of rhubarb to play around with for other recipes later on. Now if you are going to be using thick rhubarb like I am, it works well to cut them into 2 cm strips. But if you have thinner stalks, you can always cut them a bit longer, as whilst cooking the rhubarb it's going to hold its shape and it's not going to turn into mush. So it just depends how chunky you want your rhubarb to be once it's all cooked. Now once it's sliced, place in a oven-proof dish and cover with 200 grams of sugar and toss to coat, and then let sit for 20 minutes. Now this is going to help soften and release some of the juices and coat the rhubarb pre-cooking. Now additionally, you can toss in some extra fruits as well. I chose to throw in some of my preserved lemons to balance the sweetness of the sugar, and this gave a sweet, savoury and slightly salty final product, which, to be fair, was actually really nice. Now as this is a crumble, we will need to make, well, the crumble topping. Now this is super simple. All you will need is 225 grams of plain flour and 175 grams of chilled butter. Now all of the conversions will be in the description down below as always. Now you want to cut your butter into smaller cubes and then combine them together in a bowl by rubbing together to almost form breadcrumbs. But the heat from your hand can also soften the butter somewhat, so it is easier to do this in a food processor if you have one, and it is a lot faster as well. Now you want to make sure you don't over blend this, otherwise you'll basically end up with shortbread biscuit dough, and you will lose your breadcrumb light texture. Once you have your breadcrumb-like mix, add in 100 grams of sugar. Now you could use brown sugar here as well for a sweeter and more caramel-like topping. And then give the rhubarb and sugar mix one final stir and then pour over your topping. Now I did have a bit too much rhubarb for the size of the cooking dish I'm using, so it did mound up slightly, but as it cooks through it will soften and compact down. Once ready, place in a preheated 190 degrees Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit oven for 45 to 50 minutes until the top is browned and the rhubarb is softened. Now even with the thicker sliced stalks that I was using, this cooking time worked out great. And once finished cooking, let cool slightly and serve with cream, ice cream or even clotted cream if you have any. And there you have it, a nice summer dessert to enjoy on a hot summer's evening and a great use for homegrown rhubarb if you have any. And that wraps up this week's video. If you've enjoyed, let me know down below with a like and a comment. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe for free weekly cooking content, and I will see you all again next week. Thanks for watching.